All right, now let's just go through my Twitter diary timeline time frame to see what other stories I might have missed that I wanted to touch on before I go jogging, play with the kids. Liberal Party of Canada. If this barbecue season gets a bit political, we won't let you get burned. Piss off and stop interfering with my life, government. That's what I would say to that. Leave my barbecue time with my family alone. Take a look at our barbecue banter to get the latest sizzle on everything little. I'm sorry, you just said if it gets political, we won't. Oh my God, they want to tell you what to say with your family when you're having barbecues, people. Let's just see what this. Trudeau is the reason inflation is high. Oh my God. Oh, I didn't even click on this. I'm sorry. I didn't click on this when I first saw it because I was just making a joke about the government soon to be banning outdoor barbecues. Are Canadians still allowed to have barbecues, or has the Liberal government banned those as well because of carbon emissions? And you might think I'm being hyperbolic and inflammatory. They've banned wood-burning stoves in Montreal for environmental reasons. Right here is Pollution Watch. Canada moves to limit wood burning. They banned wood-burning stoves in Montreal, which had the Jewish community in a frenzy because we thought they were going to shut down the two bagel shops, St. Viator Bagel and Real Bagel, which use wood-burning stoves to make bagels, because that's the only way you can make bagels, people. They grandfathered in those bagel shops so that, there wouldn't be massive uprising. Old, I was going to say a picture of my grandmother with her cane. You don't touch my bagels. I didn't click on this. This is magnificent propaganda. This is amazing. Trudeau's the reason inflation is so high. People, let's do this. Let's play a game right now in real time. I just kicked my dog. Didn't realize he was under the chair. Trudeau's the reason inflation is so high. What do we think the answer is going to be? I love this game. I can play this game every day of the week. What do we think the answer is going to be, people? Put it in the chat before we get there. If I had to guess, COVID, Putin. It's not Trudeau's fault. It's COVID. It's the interruption to the supply chain, and it's Putin's war in Ukraine. What do you think it's going to be, people? Let's see, shall we? Trudeau is the reason inflation is so high. Don't eat this one up. This is government propaganda. I'm paying for this? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to yell. I'm paying for this? My tax dollars are going to this? Inflation is a challenge that countries around the world are facing, mainly due to supply chain issues caused by COVID. And, oh my God, can I write the propaganda for them or what? Hey, by the way, you morons, you want the response to this government propaganda? Anyone who said Trudeau's the reason? Mainly due to supply chain issues caused by COVID-19? No. Caused by government response to COVID-19. And just because other governments are equally as incompetent as Trudeau doesn't mean that Trudeau is not responsible for inflation. Oh, it could be a group effort, and Trudeau is in that group. It's not caused by COVID. Nothing of what we are going through, except for the direct COVID deaths, were caused by COVID. They were caused by the government response to COVID. Suicidal ideations and self-harm among teenagers was not caused by COVID, Trudeau. It was caused by your inept response to that. Amplified by Russia's illegal invasion of Ukraine? Wrong again. Wrong again, Trudeau. It was caused by your response to, let's just even say I agree with your qualification, Russia's illegal invasion of Ukraine. Let's just say, I'll give you that. Russia's invasion of Ukraine was illegal. Inflation and gas prices spiking in our country had nothing to do with Russia's illegal invasion of the Ukraine, but the government response to Russia's illegal invasion of Ukraine. And the sanctions that you put on Russia, which compromised our ability to get fertilizer, to get oil, caused you to go begging Saudi Arabia and Venezuela for oil. It wasn't Russia's invasion of Ukraine that caused it. It was your incompetent government response to that conflict. We know inflation can take a bite out of your wallet, and that's why we're taking steps to fight it and make life more affordable for Canadians. Check out some of the ways let me just see what the chat's doing here. I can't see what the chat's doing here. Holy sweet, merciful propaganda. Oh my God. Ha, ha, ha. Banning wood burning while in the UK is burning 15 million tons of Canadian and American trees in the Drax power station. Forget that. How about the freight liners that go across the ocean that are responsible for what percentage of global emissions? Assuming that's even the problem. Intercontinental freight liners are responsible for more pollution than all the cars in the world, from what I recall as a statistic. Someone in the chat correct me. But you're going after Granny and Pops burning wood in restaurants, in wood burning stoves. You guys are out of control. I like how neither the original quote nor the liberal response have an explanation, just statements of fact. Well, let's see. But wait, there's more. Liberals are taking away my guns. Okay, hold on, people. What's the answer going to be for this one? I love this game. Too bad we only get to do it one time, at least for this. Let's see. Liberals are taking away my guns. Well, if I'm a dishonest liar, what I'm going to say is these restrictions have been in place for years. There's nothing new. We're just expanding them to increase them to more lethal guns, in light of recent events. And they're going to invoke Nova Scotia. That would be one. They're going to have to find a way to blame conservative governments as well, to say it's not just us. The conservatives did this as well. And they're going to say, but you can still have them for hunting because nobody needs them for any other reason. Okay. What do you think? Chat. Don't play the game. Inflation has one cause: the government creating currency to try and skew it as a market condition is a flat out lie. To try and skew it as a market condition. No, I don't. There's stagflation, which comes with increased prices and printing cash. But inflation, it could come from. I don't think it exclusively comes from printing money. Maybe I'm wrong. I think interruption of supply chains can cause inflation because you have less demand, which is going to jack up prices. But dude, I'm not an economist either, and I really no economic advice either. Okay, let's see. The rules have been in place for a long time. Conservatives also supported it, and we're only expanding this to lethal guns, which people don't need in Canada anyhow for hunting. It's time to serve up some facts. We all know the devastation that firearms cause when they get into the wrong hands. That's why the Liberal government is increasing criminal penalties and putting a freeze on buying, selling, and transferring guns. So the Liberals are taking away my guns. They just think they have a good reason to do it. We've also delivered on our promise to expand background checks, fight gun smuggling, and ban assault-style weapons in Canada, because those weapons belong in the battlefield, not in our communities. Or they belong at protests in Ottawa, right, Justin? Right? True dope? Right? Trudeau to toilette? They belong on the battlefield. Or in Ottawa when you're breaking up bouncy castles and hot tubs for protests. Criminal and crime minister is what he is. While conservative leadership candidates promise to weaken our gun laws and roll back progress we've made, Liberals are delivering on our promise to make our communities a safer place in London. So what's the answer? Liberals are taking away my guns. They're just doing it for my own protection. That's a great answer. That's what you call a self-own, you buffoons. And I mean you as in the Liberal government and whoever wrote this. Liberals are taking away my guns. What's the answer? Yes. Yes. But we know better. Oh, okay. The Liberal carbon tax is making everything so expensive. What's going to be the answer, people? The answer to this, I can tell you, is the future is bright. Who is going to fly the chopper? Jeez Louise, I didn't even think about asking that. We're going to kidnap her with a chopper. Do any of us know how to fly a helicopter? Don't worry. I'll go to a helicopter school and I'll just learn how to fly it. I don't need to worry about landing or taking off. Okay, Liberals, the Liberal carbon tax is making everything so expensive. Answer? Sure, there's going to be an adjustment to going green, but in the long run, it's going to save us money and create jobs. Splash some cold water on this one. Despite what conservative politicians want you to think, our price on pollution actually puts more money into the pockets of Canadians. Just last month, Canadians living in provinces where our price on pollution applies received hundreds of dollars through the climate action incentive payment. So they're taking the money that they charge to these corporations and then giving it back to the citizens. Okay. What impact is that tax going to have on the cost of products coming from these companies who are now being taxed for carbon emissions? I'm sure it's not going to make those products cost more. While conservative leadership candidates want to make pollution free again, our Liberal team is making life more affordable while moving forward with bold climate action. I got to tell you, I could write better answers for these questions, and I disagree with the position. We're putting money back in your hands. The Liberal carbon tax is making everything so expensive. So the answer to this one is yes, the price of objects are going, the price of goods are in fact going up, but we're giving you some money back that we're taking from those corporations after, of course, the government has taken its cut as part of this massive, ever-growing blob of an administrative state. We're sending you hundreds of dollars back through the Climate Action Incentive Program as prices continue to go up, thus making everything so expensive because of the carbon tax. And by the way, what percentage of global emissions does Canada account for? I think it's like less than 1%. Enjoy the price hike, but don't worry, some of you are getting some money back at the end of the year. So the Liberal carbon tax is making everything so expensive? The answer is yes. And here's a few pennies back, you pleb. Shut up and take it. We know better. It's for your own good. I'm going to go a little faster here. The Liberals aren't doing anything to make housing more affordable. Wrong. We're building many new houses. This couldn't be further from the truth. Our Liberal team is taking important steps. We're doubling the rate of housing construction over the next 10 years, helping young people afford a home by doubling the first home price to 500. This one I don't know really enough about, except to say that it's nice. You're doubling housing construction as the price of things skyrockets. So who's going to be able to afford these? The only thing that could conceptually have an impact on the price of housing in Canada to reduce it is not to allow foreigners to buy up residential property and then either use it for rentals or use it as investment properties. Use it as rentals or otherwise use it as investment properties. And you know, the other thing that would help people buy houses is having good jobs with good pay without massive inflation. Build all the houses you want. If Canadians can't afford them, it's not going to resolve any problem unless you just nationalize all of these newly built houses, which I think might not be too far off in the future in Canada. We're doubling the rate of construction, good, over the next 10 years. Well, hopefully you're not going to be in power for the next 10 years, you incompetent, corrupt nincompoops. Helping young people afford a home by doubling the first-time home buyers tax credit. Providing a $500 payment this year to renters struggling. Well, that doesn't do anything to help people buy. You're giving $500 to renters struggling with the cost of housing due to inflation, which is someone else's fault. That doesn't help anybody buy a house. Cracking down on foreign ownership. So they're doing that. And speculation and so much more. Oh, I thought I recalled the time when cracking down on foreign ownership and speculation was passed off as racist and xenophobic. I thought I remembered that. I'm not sure. Oh, we only got two more. It's the NDP Liberal coalition government. Let me just see if I've missed anything on Rumble. It's the NDP Liberal coalition government. That's true. The only caveat to that is this is what they're going to say. It's not a coalition government. The NDP is still holding the Liberal feet to the fire, and we're going to hold their feet to the fire, and we're going to use each other to ensure that we have the best policy made to represent all of Canadians' interests. Don't get burned. Here are the facts. In the last elections, Canadians elected a strong Liberal government. That's a lie. That is a flat out lie. It was, I think my understanding, it was like the weakest minority government ever elected. I'm sorry, but maybe it's just a matter of opinion. It's a strong Liberal government. And that's exactly what they have. The Liberals and the NDP aren't in a coalition government, but the Liberal government has signed a supply and confidence agreement. They're just liars. They're just liars. Justin Trudeau, you are just a liar. Justin Trudeau is just a liar. It's not a coalition, but we've signed a supply and confidence agreement with the NDP to ensure the government can present and implement budgets. That's called a coalition. You liar. Why would you even be ashamed to admit it? Probably the NDP doesn't want the Liberals saying it's a coalition because it's a coalition with the devil. And you've done it, Jagmeet Singh. You have coalesced. Is that the word? You have collided. No. You have coalitioned with the devil. In fact, coalesced is not the word. Neither is collided. You have coalitioned with an unethical, criminal, corrupt government. I bet you the NDP said, no. Deny this and reframe it because we don't want to admit we've coalitioned with a corrupt, criminal, incompetent, dangerous government. And I'm quoting Jagmeet Singh himself. That functions with predictability and stability, also known as a coalition, you liar. Canadians expect parliamentarians to work together to live on the president. No. Actually, Canadians expect opposition to hold the feet of a minority or majority government to the fire, to make them prove their claims, to make them enact reasonable, rational, and effective policy, not to work together for the benefit of government just for the sake of it. That's why we're working with the NDP. We're working with them, but it's not a coalition. And other political parties, unfortunately, at every turn, conservative politicians have tried to stop our progress. Maybe it's time they catch up and get to work for all Canadians. I don't even know what to think. This would make Joseph Goebbels jealous. This level of taxpayer-funded propaganda would make Goebbels himself green with envy. Politicians aren't looking after you. Sure they are. Don't believe all of this stuff. Here's all the good stuff. Okay. Holy crab apple. So it doesn't even matter what's left on my Twitter timeline. That's it. Holy crab apples. Well, people, you've seen the best propaganda taxpayer dollars can buy.